G'day, Corey.
Benjamin,
How you doing, mate?
I'm fantastic, thank you.
Good. It's been a couple of brilliant weeks on the loan front. We've got 3 months in a row with no interest rate rise. Good
Very
news,
excited.
people. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, for all of us.
Now, this is a little off topic, but I heard one economist say if we can get six in a row where it stays still, it normally means it'll head backwards and start going down. Is the way other countries have tracked.
Well, I mean,
Are you hopeful for that?
I am hopeful, not just for my client's sake, but for my sake, for crying out loud. And look, it looks like we're on that trajectory with inflation getting closer and closer to that, desired figure. Uh,
Yep.
so stop, don't keep spending, everybody. Let's get our rates lower.
Yep. Mate, today we're having a conversation about the importance of a broker. And so we have, obviously, as brokers, there's a lot from our perspective that some people don't know that is on our plate. I remember when I first was like, I want to buy a house, I was like, how do I do it? And it was literally someone around me going, you need to get a broker. And I was like, oh, they're sharks, aren't they? I was nervous about getting a broker because I didn't realize. And we got a broker who was one of the best guys. And honestly, I spent a lot of time on the phone to my broker, talking about property, talking about what was in front of us. And ultimately, he saved us from making some pretty dumb decisions too, because he was able to help us understand some stuff. So for me, I'm really grateful I had a great broker. And so today I want to basically pick your brain about brokering. Why would you go to a broker? What's the importance of it? And how it's ultimately going to save you some cash. And so, how about you talk through the role of a broker real quick and what we do, um, just as simply the tasks, not necessarily the benefit, but the tasks that we're taking off people's plates.
Yeah, look, high level, a mortgage broker is responsible for the introduction to a lender or to a bank, whichever term you prefer, of a mortgage application, right? For the prospect that you will be a client of that bank that would hold a mortgage against a property. Our role is essentially is to number one, put you in the right product based on what your needs are. If your needs are the lowest interest rate, best savings, or if your requirements are you need a guaranteed repayment for a few years because you're expecting your partner to have a baby, we are responsible for negotiating a rate, negotiating in some cases policy, but also having relationships with contacts within the bank and also being able to read through and interpret policy in an appropriate manner, um, and handle all the paperwork for you. It doesn't mean that you don't have to do any work. Obviously, we work together to get the desired outcome, but you're not dealing with somebody at the bank that's talking jargon and convincing you to do
Yeah.
something that's in your best interest because traditionally a bank's interest is in their clients, absolutely, but ultimately to serve their stakeholders and shareholders. A broker's responsibility and legality is called best interest duty. We are to put you in the right product that suits you. That's
Yeah.
high what a broker does.
Well, can I just interrupt there? Because I remember a conversation. I had someone call me and go, "I'm nervous about brokers," and probably similar to what I had first up. Explain best interest duty and why this is important for people to understand when they're going, "Will I go to a broker? Will they just send me to the bank that they get the best commission from instead of what's best for me?"
Yeah.
Um, Explain best interest duty.
Yeah, best interest duty is a fairly new law that came out about 2 years ago. So there's responsible lending and there's best interest duty. Responsible lending covers banks, covers brokers, covers the institutions. Best interest duty is only enforced upon mortgage brokers. Okay.
So banks don't have to do best. They don't have to do what's best for you.
No, but you go to a bank, they'll go, yep. here's the loan. They don't have to consider. They don't legally have to consider. It's not actually best to come to us. You might be better over at Bank A, B, C, D.
Yeah, right.
Their role as a banker is to meet their KPI targets, right?
Yeah.
My
And they've
role,
only got a certain amount of products anyway. So
a
if you
handful
come
of
to me, they might get the best product at their bank for you,
correct.
but they might not have the best product for you.
Yeah, so that bank will have a handful of products, maybe two handfuls. We have thousands, right? If you have enough lenders on your panel, you have a lot. So best interest duty is an enforcement on mortgage brokers to ensure that because historically there may have been sharks. This is 20, 30 years ago. This is to enforce that brokers are acting in their best interest. And the numbers indicate that brokers are the preferred option because we do act in best interest. We hold over 70% of the mortgage market in Australia. That means 30% of Australians go directly to the bank and 70% of Australians go to a broker for that reason. I don't know how many times, Benny, we're dealing with it right now with some of our clients. They've gone direct to the bank.
Yeah.
And I used to be at a bank. You're taught how to lock a client in, have them there long term, wrap up all their assets, and keep them, get them sticky. Where we're in a position now we're more experienced, we're having to put clients and fix up their position, unwind some things because the banker is just they can meet their KPI. Right?
They got them the loan. But they also got them into a very sticky situation.
Correct. So that's best interest duty at a high level. So we've got to demonstrate in every deal. I think we have to do. I think minimum we have to pretty well do an essay on what we've assessed, how we've assessed it, what options have we presented you, and how can we demonstrate and display that this was in your best interest.
And every couple of months, we have a regulator come through and look at the loans, like pick at random the loans that we've done and make sure that we actually did the best job for that client. So there's actual accountability too.
Yeah, look, in my time, they do random audits at the bank as well. In my time as a banker, I had one audit in a 7-year career at a bank. Every 3 months, and all our brokers, they do a self audit every 3 months, and then we have an audit from our aggregation, and our license is also subject to audits every quarter. So, not saying that we're perfect, but we are always readjusting to make sure we're doing the best things.
Yeah. So that's essentially what we have to do. So how do brokers then save cash? How do we actually save people money? How do we save them time? Because time is money. So how are we saving people as brokers then?
Look, obviously, number one is we can negotiate interest rates. Okay, we can negotiate to a certain level. And Benny, you've seen it, right? We get offered rates, and we go, we don't like that. Let's escalate this and give some comparisons to this lender. So one is negotiation of rates. Two, because we have access to more products than your banker that you go to off the street, we might say, yeah, that's a good product, but over here is a similar product and it's already 0.5% cheaper. Okay, that's number two. It also could be the niches within a product, right? You might be somebody that has savings accounts at multiple banks. You have savings for holidays, savings for a new house, savings for a renovation, and then you have an offset account where your wage goes, because that lender only allows you to have one offset. Some of the banks we go to allow you to have up to 10 offsets connected to the loan, which you can then envelope into different savings. If you're a believer of the barefoot investor and enveloping your expenses and fire engines and fire extinguishers and splurge, this is a way to do it. Every single cent offset your mortgage. And number two, because we have your best interest at heart, if we feel you're going to be over leveraged, if you push the line, we'll do the loan because that's what you desire, right? But we'll tell you if we feel that your borrowing is getting a little bit too tight, that you may be overstretching, we'll have those conversations. And further to the point, if you're an investment, whilst we don't give tax advice, if you're starting to accumulate a portfolio, we're going to raise. You might start to have an issue with land tax. So it's time to start looking at restructuring how you borrow, and then get you onto the right professionals from there. So there's various ways. I would say it's product, ability to negotiate, and expertise is how a broker saves you money and time.
Yeah. Now, on the back end of it, it's not just that we get you a loan as well as a broker. What are we doing after the loan that makes us a really beneficial person to have in someone's corner?
Yeah, look, I think the important thing is, one is understanding how we get paid. We are paid a trail income for your mortgage. So that means it's not thousands of dollars. We get a small amount per month to manage you as a client, and have the relationship. So annually, right? If it's a good brokerage, annually there should be pricing being done, right? Doesn't mean we're refinancing you and getting
what's pricing? What
yeah,
does that
pricing is, let's say in 12 months' time, on the anniversary or close to the anniversary of when you've settled your loan, we come to you and say, hey, it's been a year. We'd like to see if we can bring your interest rate down further than what it currently is. You give us the bank statements, and we go to the lender on your behalf, right? So let's say we've settled you at ABC Bank. We go back to ABC Bank, said, hey, Mr. Bank or Mrs. Bank or whatever bank, they've had their mortgage here for 12 months. Conduct has been great. Savings has been great. They've not missed a repayment. They're not overdrawn accounts. We'd like to request a reduction in interest rate, and here's a competitor that they can go to, right? So it's about bringing the rates down if we can. So that way, you're not just, I don't know how many times, even some of my clients, they're eager. Sometimes they'll call the bank and get nowhere. This is what the broker can do for you. And it's not often that we would refinance within the first 2 years or 3 years, because it's not necessarily cost effective for you to do that, because there's exit fees and entry fees. So the savings you would get, you probably lose anyway in those costs. So we're not interested in refinancing you every year and churning the loan. We're interested in maintaining a relationship, and we would go forward on your behalf and fight for a bank to bring the rates down. And that's why it's important to manage your repayments and make sure you're not missing them.
So people don't have to pay anything extra for us. They get someone who's got a best interest duty to them, and are audited to ensure that they're doing so. And then at no extra fee, because we don't get paid by people in a residential context, we don't get paid by the client. The bank pays us to do their work for them, and so on and so forth. And then ongoing, we are paid to make sure that ongoing that loan is what's best for you.
Correct.
That's not a bad deal.
It's a great, and it's in, the clients that's buying a house, buying residential investments and holding, there is no cost for us, no cost whatsoever to do so. The bank pays us, right? Now, obviously, we are a business. We do have commercial and development and people that are flipping properties and doing pre-approvals and all those type of things. Those are things that encumbrance fees, but very, very low. But in terms of residential, if you're purchasing a residential property, or if you're refinancing or cashing out, we do not charge a fee.
Yeah, it's brilliant, mate. And so you talked about the ongoing relationship. Explain that to people that at a not many people go to the branch anymore and know their local branch manager. What do you mean by ongoing relationship with a broker?
Yeah, look, a lot of our clients are investors, right, Benny? So it's quite often the client wants to spitball some things that they're thinking about doing around property investments, around potentially, not that we give financial advice, but potentially they want to leverage security to do managed funds or shares. They want to have a conversation and understand some type of lending strategy that allows them to do that. So it's not true. It's probably not normal for you, mums and dads or individuals that are buying property and just living in it. The relationship probably more annually, with birthdays and annual reviews. But for the investor, You are probably talking to us 2 or 3 times a year. And sometimes there's no transaction that takes place. It's a
Yeah,
conversation. What's the capacity? Sometimes our strategies, Benny, if we're doing a refinance for a client that's wanting to purchase a property, well, we're doing a refinance, but can they purchase a property as well? Sometimes it's forward thinking
yeah,
lending strategies as well. So,
yeah,
um, you know, some of my clients have become good friends over the years. You start to learn who their kids are, and you meet their husbands and or their wives, and you start to build a relationship there, right? And you become the first port of call sometimes.
yeah, yeah. Now, I just as we finish up, um, one of the things that we've kind of touched on, but probably not really impacted, is just our company specifically.
Yep.
Um, one of the things that's really unique about us is that we have not just your big four banks and then your second and even third tier lenders. That we've got private money. How about you explain Source Financial a little bit as a company and a brokerage itself, and what are the benefits of us and not just a broker in general?
Yeah, look, I think the benefits to us is we have highly experienced mortgage brokers and professionals, right? We're not mortgage brokers that were a firefighter 1 year and decided to become a mortgage broker the next. All the current mortgage brokers that are accredited are long-term mortgage brokers or long-term in the finance industry, right? You've got me who's come from commercial banking. You've got another person who's been in hedge funds and done a bunch of stuff as a broker. You've got another one who's been financial planner and accountant and run businesses and is our broker and understands that world. We've got high-end professionals, right? Now, because of that, we specialize in the investor space. We do a lot of first home buyers too, Benny, and people buying their house to live in. Um, and I think we have, the understanding on strategy and structuring. Um, More so than a lot of brokers. There's a lot of clients that we get where brokers have, and there's a lot of great mortgage brokers out there, a lot of good brokerages, and a lot of good brokerages that specialize in what we do as well. But there are some out there that they just know how to get the loan. They've never had the education. Um, and a lot of our investor clients are now fully wrapped up and at their cap on what they can borrow because they desire to build a portfolio. And again, we have an internal accounting team as well, which can assist with the structure and give actual tax advice. And obviously we've got development and private money as well. So there's always a way, and there's always a solution, provided that it's in your best interest. I don't think any new to industry brokers that we do have, right, have been taught by us, right? So they're learning these things up front and at the beginning, then learning it the hard way by learning by the bank, wrapping up clients. They're thinking a little bit more before they act. Yeah, I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, no, it's great, and it's a little bit of a shameless plug on our company, but for someone who's bought a number of properties and seen good brokers and then heard stories of bad brokers, it's one of the things that I look at Source Financial and go, we're genuinely meeting needs. We have helped people achieve things that I don't think many other people could have, and definitely they couldn't have achieved if they'd just gone to their local bank. And so, I think for Source Financial, we offer something pretty special. So, look, that's it from us. Thank you so much for your time. And look, for anyone out there looking to even just have a chat with a broker, it's free. Everything with a broker
Yeah,
around just a residential loan, just a straightforward, is quite free. And that's why we're doing these videos, to help you understand that. Get in there, have a chat with us, see what we can do, and you might be surprised what you can do.
And one thing I didn't highlight about our business, Benny, is obviously that I wouldn't say there's any bad brokers out there. I think there's uneducated brokers that just don't have that expertise, so that they just know to get a loan. But what's great about our business is what I found, Benny, is because I've received the feedback myself when I was a standalone broker on my own, building my networks and building my I guess process. It's quite often if you're getting leads, you end up playing phone tag with the client. You call them, they don't answer. They call you, you don't answer. And sometimes a week or so can go by, right? And then there's been no conversation. And then you hear about, we just didn't use you because we couldn't contact you, right? Because a broker, fundamentally, standalone broker, there's a lot of work to do in each deal. It's really hard to get on. If you're having to do 10 calls a day, that's, half your day gone, maybe more, and you're actually having to do the work. We've built a very, very great upfront process that ensures contact and then an appointment with a broker that adds value. Right. And so I'd like to probably highlight that that's the biggest part, Benny. There is a process to get into us and into our systems and into our conversations far quicker than probably some other brokerages. That's probably another part I want to highlight. And I should have brought that up earlier. Sorry, Benny.
No, it's good, mate. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think if you're out there and you just don't know where to start, give us a yell. We'd love to be able to help. Thank you so much, Corey. And look, keep your ears peeled. We have got some more scenarios coming forward that if you're following along with Jess or James or any of our other characters, we're looking to develop their story a little bit and go and get them loans at the next stage and show you what is involved. So stay tuned for that. Have a great week and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.